Voices from the Ranks. The Tiger's Shadow, Chapter 1. Kai Province, Spring 1555. The spear was heavier than Saburo remembered. His arms trembled as he held the ash shaft level before him. Across the training ground, dozens of other young Ashigaru stood in formation beneath the morning sun. "Lower your shoulders." The instructor's bamboo cane struck Saburo sharply across the back. Pain flashed through him. Again! The line advanced. 1 step, 2 steps, 3, thrust, withdraw, thrust, withdraw. The movements repeated endlessly. For months, 16-year-old Saburo had trained beneath the banners of the Takeda clan. Every day followed the same routine: spear drill, archery practice, marching, formation changes, weapon maintenance. The veterans claimed these drills would save lives. The younger men believed courage would. Most would soon discover courage alone was not enough. By midday, sweat soaked their simple armor. Dust covered their feet. The instructor finally called a halt. The young soldiers collapsed gratefully beneath nearby pine trees. Saburo sat beside his closest friend, Hiroshi. The older youth removed his helmet and wiped sweat from his face. "You still grip the spear too tightly." Saburo frowned. "And how would you know?" Hiroshi laughed. "Because I did exactly the same thing." Nearby, veterans prepared rice and miso soup over small fires. The smell drifted across the camp. For a few moments, the training field felt peaceful. Then, the war drums sounded. Every conversation stopped. Every head turned. A mounted messenger was approaching. His horse was covered in sweat. Even before he spoke, the men knew. The Wasugi had moved again. War was coming. Chapter 2. The Tiger of Kai. That evening, the entire camp gathered. Hundreds of soldiers sat before rows of fluttering banners. Among them flew the famous standard of their lord, Takeda Shingen, the Tiger of Kai. To Saburo, Shingen seemed larger than life. A warrior, a strategist, a legend. The young Ashigaru strained to see him. At last, the great daimyo appeared, mounted on horseback, calm, silent, confident. The murmuring ceased immediately. Even the wind seemed to pause. News spread quickly through the ranks. Wasugi Kenshin's forces were maneuvering toward Kawanakajima. Again. The struggle for the fertile plain continued. Neither lord would surrender it. Neither lord would back down. The coming campaign would decide much, perhaps everything. That night, sleep came slowly. Saburo lay beneath a blanket, staring upward. Around him, campfires flickered, veterans sharpened spearheads. Armor was inspected, horses were fed. The smell of smoke filled the air. Across the darkness, somewhere beyond the mountains, marched the warriors of Wasugi Kenshin, the dragon of Echigo, the enemy. Saburo wondered if boys his age sat beside those campfires too, wondering, waiting, afraid. Chapter 3. The March to Kawanakajima. The army moved before sunrise. Columns of men wound through the valleys of Shinano Province. Banners snapped in the wind. Armor rattled with every step. The route followed narrow mountain roads and river valleys. To the east rose steep forested hills. To the west flowed the Chikumagawa River. Mist drifted across the water. The landscape was beautiful. Almost too beautiful for war. Saburo marched with thousands of others. Ashigaru carried spears. Samurai rode horseback nearby. Supply trains followed behind. The movement seemed endless, hour after hour, day after day. Feet blistered, shoulders ached, yet no one complained. The enemy was close. Scouts constantly rode ahead and returned with reports. The Wasugi banners had been sighted. Both armies were converging upon the Kawanakajima plain. The tension grew with every mile. Chapter 4. The Rivers. By late summer, the Takeda army reached positions near the Saigawa and Chikumagawa rivers. Saburo climbed a low hill and stared across the plain. The sight stole his breath. Thousands of tents, hundreds of banners, rows of campfires. Across the rivers stood the army of Wisugi Kenshin, close enough to see, too far to reach. The rivers created natural barriers. Both armies maneuvered carefully, seeking advantage, watching, waiting. The commanders understood something the common soldiers did not. One mistake could destroy an entire clan. Days passed. The armies shifted positions constantly. Scouts crossed rivers, small skirmishes erupted. Arrows occasionally darkened the sky. Yet no great battle came. The waiting became unbearable. Many soldiers feared waiting more than combat itself. In battle, a man acted. During waiting, he imagined. Chapter 5. First Blood. Saburo's first real combat came unexpectedly. Before dawn, a Wisugi scouting force crossed a shallow section of river. The alarm spread quickly. Takeda Ashigaru rushed forward, spears lowered, hearts pounding. Saburo's mouth felt dry. His hands shook. Everything he had learned in training suddenly seemed inadequate. Ahead emerged the enemy. Real men. Not practice targets, not stories. Warriors. The distance closed rapidly. Arrows hissed overhead. One struck a soldier beside him. The man collapsed instantly. Saburo froze. The reality of death was far worse than he imagined. Another arrow struck nearby. A veteran shoved him forward. "Move!" The line collided. Spears thrust. Men shouted. Steel rang against armor. The battle lasted only minutes, yet it felt like hours. When it ended, the Wisugi scouts withdrew. Saburo remained standing. Barely. For the first time, he had survived battle. For the first time, he understood why veterans rarely spoke about glory. Chapter 6. The Cost of War. That evening, Saburo walked among the wounded. The camp had become strangely quiet. The excitement of combat had faded. Reality remained. Men cried out for water. Others called for mothers hundreds of miles away. Some would never leave their blankets again. Hiroshi sat beside a wounded friend. Neither spoke. Words felt meaningless. Saburo felt anger rising inside him. Not toward the Uesugi, not entirely. Toward war itself. Toward the suffering. Toward the endless struggle between great lords while ordinary men paid the price. Yet beneath the anger remained determination. He had not run. He had stood with his comrades. The veterans noticed. One of them nodded approvingly. A small gesture, yet it meant everything. For the first time, Saburo felt he belonged. For the first time, he felt like a soldier of the Takeda clan. And as the campaign drew to its uneasy conclusion, he could not know that greater battles awaited. The Dragon of Echigo would return. The Tiger of Kai would answer. And 2 years later, in 1557, Saburo would march once more toward Kawanakajima, not as an inexperienced boy, but as a proven warrior trusted to lead men of his own.